Okay, so we are back. We're walking through the alphabet. Today we're on the letter E, and it is around the word exalts. And it goes like this: whoever exalts themselves will be humbled, and whoever humbles themselves will be exalted. This is a key theme for Jesus. It's in three different parts of the Bible, twice in Luke, once in Matthew. And it's not just Luke and Matthew recounting the same instance. These are three different instances where Jesus either told a parable or explained something and then ended it with this: whoever exalts themselves will be humbled, and whoever humbles themselves will be exalted. Now, if you've listened to most of my or any of my videos, you'll notice that this theme of being a servant, being humble, the flesh versus the spirit is just a key theme in a life walking with Jesus. We struggle with this ego, with our pride, and we have to put that down. And the idea of being humble versus being self-centered isn't just an ongoing struggle that we struggle with, but we do a great job by just keeping it in mind, praying about it, reading scripture, and understanding it. And little by little, more and more, we come to an ability to live and walk humbly in service to other people. So there's a couple, let me just share two of those just for the sake of time, that where Jesus is talking and shared this idea of exalting yourself as opposed to being humble. The first comes from Luke 18, and a couple of these are really interesting and amusing. It starts, to some who were confident of their own righteousness and looked down on everyone else, Jesus told this parable. Two men went up to the temple to pray, one a Pharisee and the other a tax collector. The Pharisee stood by himself and prayed, "God, I thank you that I am not like other people, robbers and evildoers and adulterers, or even this tax collector." See, he's comparing himself to other people and kind of boasting himself up in front of God. I'm glad I'm not like those other people. I fast twice a week and I give a tenth of all I get. But the tax collector stood at a distance. He would not even look up to God, but beat his chest and said, "God, have mercy on me." See, he knew he was a sinner. He knew his place. He knew he needed God's forgiveness. And all he did was just call out to God for mercy. Jesus went on, "I tell you that this man, rather than the other, went home justified before God." Here it is: "For all who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted." So again, the first man was priding himself, boasting himself up in front of God, where the second man was just humbly coming to God, asking for mercy. The other one comes from Luke 14, and this is when Jesus was eating at one of the homes of the Pharisee. Luke 14, one Sabbath, Jesus went up to eat at the house of a prominent Pharisee. When he noticed how the people were picking the places of honor at a table, he told them this parable. "When someone invites you to a wedding feast, do not take the place of honor, for a person more distinguished than you may have been invited. And if so, the host who invited both of you will come and say, 'Give this person your seat.' Then, humiliated, you will have to take the seat of least importance. But when you are invited, take the lowest place, so that when your host comes, he will say to you, 'Friend, move up to a better place.' Then you will be honored in the presence of all other guests." And here it comes: "For all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted." So our attitude, again, is not to promote ourselves, to exalt ourselves. It's to be a humble attitude towards people, towards our family, towards everyone, and towards life itself. Jesus likened this to being of service, humility and service. And he told this parable. This is really kind of amusing. It comes from Matthew 20. Now, Jesus had 12 disciples, and at one point, one of the mothers of two of the disciples came and talked to Jesus. It goes like this, Matthew 20. Then the mother of Zebedee's sons came to Jesus with her sons, and kneeling down, asked him a favor. What is it you want? He asked. She said, grant that one of these two sons of mine may sit at your right and the other at your left in the kingdom. Jesus said, you don't know what you are asking. Can you drink the cup that I'm going to drink? We can, they answered. Jesus said to them, you will indeed drink the cup, but at my right or left is not for me to grant. These places belong to those for whom they have been prepared for by my Father. Now, this is where it gets interesting. When the other 10 heard about this, they were indignant with the two brothers. Jesus called them all together and said this, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to be great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be your slave, just as the Son of Man, that's Jesus, did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. So even Jesus giving us this example, Jesus is exalted. He is King of Kings, Lord of Lords. He has every right to be served, but he did not come to be served, but to serve. And that's the example he's giving us, is to have an attitude of service and humility to all people. A couple other quick scriptures about humility. Philippians 2:3, do nothing from rivalry or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. 1 Peter 5:6, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so at the proper time he may exalt you. And finally, James 4:6, God opposes the proud, but gives favor to the humble. So God even opposes those who are proud. So have an attitude of humility. God opposes those who exalt themselves. Whoever exalts themselves will be humbled, but whoever humbles themselves will be exalted. So that's it. Hope that helps. If you are enjoying these, if you're getting a blessing out of these, give it a like. I would love to have you subscribe and provide you this content regularly. You hit the subscribe button there, and we'll be back next week walking through the alphabet with the letter F. And that comes from a fool's mouth, around the word fool. So have a great week. God bless you, and we'll see you then.